I'm Mandy Milsom. I'm the safeguarding lead at Rugby Free Secondary School. We did an online assembly, so I led a Teams assembly and the students got their phones out and I got them to use the QR code and actually go into the platform while I was speaking, and I asked different year groups to rate different parts of the school that they had safeguarding concerns about, but hopefully some of the parts of the school that they felt particularly safe about. It's really important to us because we pride ourselves on we do with the children, we don't do to them. So actually when we're looking at our policies and putting changes in place, we really need to hear the child's voice, because there is no one better to tell us how a child feels at school than the child themselves. School, we're lucky to work with lots of different agencies, but somewhere that's become particularly useful is the youth intervention team in Rugby, which is a virtual network meeting that's held once a month, and it's held between youth clubs, the police, youth centres, youth workers and schools, and we can share information, and I can share directly with them any information that's contextual to our school. So sometimes it could be park areas, it could be particular roads or lanes in Rugby. We also get the police asking us if we can send a poll out to year groups about different parks. So for example, we did one recently with a named park in Rugby to a particular year group, asking them if they had any concerns and what they would do if they did have those concerns. One thing we get, which is fantastic for us as a school, is we now have a platform where students can give us anonymous tip-offs. So those tip-offs may be about something that's happening outside of school that we can pass on to the correct agencies, or it can just be about some behaviours or some concerns in school. We also have students that can now tell us about clubs and activities, but we have had 2 concerns that we've been able to pass on to a safeguarding team outside of school. In section 1, when you start looking at the areas of 17, 18 and 19 about how children can get their point across, and particularly with section 19 where it talks about children who aren't confident enough to speak, we've suddenly given them that platform that they don't have to sit face to face with somebody that they know, that they can report this, and they can actually either do that anonymously or they can leave their email address. We find the majority of people who are reporting want to be spoken to and they want to be heard, so they leave the email address, and we have a system in school where I get back to that email straight away and say thank you very much, your concern has been heard, and you will have somebody who will come and speak to you when you're ready. And we also, if it's appropriate, we then contact home and say your child's raised a concern on the student voice. So we have a very rectangular building at school and we have 5 sets of stairs, and previously to this year we've always had those sets of stairs as year group stairs, which is really historical from COVID days, and we always felt that those stairs worked really well. But we decided, as part of the plan for the new student voice launch, we would test out the polling system, and we sent out a poll to years 7, 8 and 9 and asked them to rate the stairs and give us any comments, expecting fully for them to come back to us and tell us that we love the year group stairs, it's great. And what we actually had was completely the opposite that came back. We had students telling us that they met up on the stairs to muck about, that they were maybe pushing each other up and down the stairs because they were very close to each other and there were no older students around. So with almost immediate effect, we let the parents know that the students' voice was that actually they felt unsafe on the stairs and they'd prefer the stairs to be mixed. We put that in place, and after a few teething problems of students challenging each other saying you're on my stairs, we've actually gone to a much calmer environment now. And we did have a second example with our canteen. So we had a couple of students come and talk to staff about concerns in the queue in the canteen, that it was too busy. So we thought, well, there's no better way to find out than to send another poll out, and we sent it to the whole school. We actually had a 65% return rate, which I consider very high in the school, and we've since put in place where we have split lunch queues at lunchtime, where we have the younger year groups go first and then the older ones second. We're planning to have student voice running exactly as it is now. It's really popular with the students. We recently, in the anti-bullying week last week, we sent out a questionnaire to students about bullying, and one of the questions was, do you know where to report bullying? And 84% of the students in school put the student voice as one of their ways or pathways of reporting bullying, which is very successful. But with that, we can also run an assembly to remind the other 16% that they can report it on there. But it is working for us. It's helped us change our practice. Children now feel confident to pass on information for other people. And also, I don't think we were aware of how complex the site was and what it could do for us. And when we found that out, that's why we did the relaunch. And I'd really recommend anyone who's already like a current customer of the Student Voice to do a relaunch and use those polls and use the careers, not careers, sorry, the club section as well.